This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
I wonder if your feelings on this matter are clear.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT, Star Wars. It's freaking Star Wars. Like, what, is she gonna go to the fucking Jedi library or something? AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
Show me on the doll where the last Jedi touched you.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we give our in-depth review and analysis of the trailer for the Rise of Skywalker. This is the Nerf Herder Council. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. As usual, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And do not forget that you can get your official Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So check that out. Going to start out this episode with, unfortunately, a little bit of sad news that we just found out about an hour ago. I'm sure everybody knows by now since this will be coming out Sunday, but Peter Mayhew passed away. So we have yet another cast member from A New Hope who is not with us any longer. I guess ABC, I actually just saw this on Twitter not 2 minutes ago that one of the family members confirmed to ABC that he actually died of a heart attack. So very sad. So, he's up there with Carrie Fisher and Kenny Baker and all them. And it's kind of weird because when I got this selfie with John Boyega, it was right outside. It was right next to the line cues for the autograph part of the show floor. And I looked over and Peter Mayhew was over there. And for some reason I had this thought. I was like, man, at some point I should go get his autograph again. Because I got my stepson an autograph in 2010, and I was like, he's getting older. It might be kind of cool to meet him again and get one for myself. Like, I just had that weird thought about oh yeah, he's getting older. And now here we are.
I know that thought because I've been thinking it for about the past 5 or 6 years. I'm just like, dude, this guy is knocking on the door, man.
But it was only 74, which is weird. So, I mean, I thought he might have been a little older than that, but yeah. So it was weird just to have that thought. But yeah, very sad that he's gone. And
what you could have done is you probably could have got a sounder for the show.
that would have been pretty crazy.
Apparently, from everything I've been reading that people have been posting in the past hour, that you never knew of until somebody passes away, was anytime somebody wanted to just sit there and talk Star Wars with him, he was just game to do it.
That's awesome.
You just jammed a microphone in front of his face. He would have just gave you some clips or something.
Right. Yeah.
Oops.
Everyone said how cool he was to the fans, and I experienced that personally. And he obviously, being Chewbacca, the Chewbacca that we know, pretty legendary. So very sad.
Yeah, he really loved that role too. Like anytime he had a chance and was able to do it, he would. Even in Force Awakens, he did the close-ups and all the non-active stuff. When Chewbacca was in the Clone Wars, he actually came in and consulted with the animators on how to get the walk just right and Chewbacca mannerisms and all that. And yeah, and he was just all about being that character, and he was so good to the fans. Like, it's a huge loss for us, but he was having a rough time with things. So it's probably for the best, but still a sad day.
Yeah, it sucks. So Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. We will always be huge fans of yours. So thanks for always being so good to the fans. We really appreciate it as always. So
Buckets off, right?
yes, exactly. And then a little bit of current events here, and then we'll get into the topic. But AJ and I reformed the Aluminum Falcons last night for a Star Wars trivia contest, and we can't tell if we won or if we placed second. And do we have the Monty Python sound clip? Go and get a glass of water. Coughing over there. Good Lord. Coughing on the last show, coughing on this show. But no, so what happened was we decided to blow off recording and bump it to tonight. We pushed it back a day so we could go do Star Wars trivia. And AJ was late. He missed the first round, so I was on my own. But I did good. I had us in second place and the questions I missed were pretty difficult. This was like a weird mix of really obscure stuff and really easy stuff.
Did you ever get a confirmation on the torpedo thing?
Yeah, it's 6.
Okay.
The question I missed was how many proton torpedoes does an X-wing carry, and it was actually 6.
Yeah, I was searching like a madman, and all I could find was the X-wing has 2 torpedo launchers. I could not find anywhere that said how many it actually carried.
I looked it up after the round too, and I was like, I didn't see it either. But
some of those questions, I would love to know where the asker got those facts from, because they're not from the movies.
Well, when I looked up one of the questions after I turned in the card with our answers for one of the rounds, a quiz came up where a lot of the questions were on there. So I think he found like a Star Wars quiz that had like 150 questions and picked them.
A BuzzFeed thing came across his Facebook.
Yeah. I was like, okay, all right. But no, so what happened was you're supposed to have teams of 4, and there was a team playing that there were 6 of them. So they were already playing with an illegal amount of people. And the guy said that if you were on your phone before turning in your answer sheet for a round, you were disqualified for that round. You got 0 points. Well, he called for the scorecards at the end of the first round, and we all turned them in except for the team of 6, and they were a good 2 to 3 minutes behind everybody else.
Yeah.
And I thought I overheard them saying something on the way out about looking things up. And so I don't know if we count this as a loss.
Well, the super sketchy thing was also that you got bonus points for doing social shots between rounds. And, you got 10 points per team member who did a shot. So they could get 60 bonus points per round compared to our 20.
Yeah.
What if you guys would have did 2 shots apiece?
They were shots. So we actually could have. It wouldn't have really been a big deal. But we only lost by 1 question. So it's like, all right, do we count it as a loss even though they were playing with A, too many players, and B, like trying to look up answers at the end of round 1 before they turned in their card? Like, does that count as a loss considering they cheated? Or do we just say, yeah, it's our first loss, but it took a team with triple the amount of members and cheating to beat us? Like, I don't know how to look at it.
If we learned anything from the NFC Championship game this year, I would say that we're not going to the Super Bowl right now.
A good analogy. I'm a sore loser if somebody cheats. I hate that. I'm very competitive, so I don't know how to feel about it. AJ said, the 6 people don't really matter because it's, still knowledge against knowledge. I said, yeah, but when you and I have a question, we look at each other. Do you know it? If one of us like, no, and do you? No. Okay, we're done. But if that team does it, they have 4 more chances to get the question right. So it's not really fair. I mean, it's, especially considering the guy said 4-man teams and they're playing with 6. So right there was illegal. So should have been disqualified.
Ooh, that would have been interesting. We should have taken 2 of their players and put them on our team.
Yeah.
Honorary Aluminum Falcons for the night.
Yeah.
Have a 4-on-4 match. That would be great.
Yep. We'd probably get the dumb ones.
But hey, look, Ric Flair was a 16-time world champion, which means he had to lose the title at least 15 times. So, you know what? We're just back in the chase. That's all.
Well, I'm going to put, all right, we can be 7-1, but the 1 comes with an asterisk because I'll be damned if I'm like, yeah, we lost. No, they cheated to beat us and they had a crap load of players. So that is not fair. So there's a damn asterisk. It's the Barry Bonds home run record of Star Wars trivia contests.
Well, we might as well count ourselves as 8-1 then, because we pretty much thrashed the people that we played Star Wars Trivial Pursuit with at Celebration.
Well, don't forget I have a win as the Aluminum Falcons without you, so I technically have one more win. So that would make me 9-1.
Okay, you're better than me. Can we move on?
I didn't say I was better. I'm just saying I played once when you weren't there. Steph and I played once when you weren't there, and we won that. So, anyways, that was our adventure. By the way, guys, in case you're ever wondering, the Millennium Falcon was cleared to land on landing platform 327 in The Empire Strikes Back. We did not know that one. So that was one that got us.
Well, that's when it cost us that one because I did know it and I second guessed it.
Well,
I thought I sent the answer to you quick enough. Because like by the time
I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. You may have sent it, but we couldn't read it.
If they had 6 people, you just called and asked me, and I happened to know. That's all.
Yeah, sure. By the way, here's one. Here's another one that we missed. That was an interesting one. I was kind of surprised by this, but I kind of had an inkling it wouldn't be an easy answer just based on how it was asked. But how many kyber crystals power Darth Maul's lightsaber? Of course, we answered 2.
I would assume 2.
It's 4. So we did not know that.
So maybe his saber's like twice as powerful in each blade because it's got 2 crystals powering it.
Yeah,
maybe.
And AJ, I would say the only one that I would say cost us was that one about how many scouts were guarding the back entrance of the shield bunker on Endor. Because I was like, you said it was 2, and I was like, no, I'm almost positive it's more than that because there 2 speeder bikes take off after him. But I sided with you because you were very, no pun intended, adamant about it.
It was not my best showing. I'm sorry.
No, it was okay. But I mean, that was really the only one where I was like, damn, I should have stood my ground. Because I did fight you on the one about like who tells Luke there's another Skywalker, and you were damn set on Obi-Wan. I'm like, no, it's Yoda's last line of dialogue. There is another Skywalker. And I forced you to do the answer, and you're like, okay, sorry.
I saved us on the lamp, though.
Yes,
you
you
want
did.
to say flashlight.
Because I always picture him holding it sideways and hitting R2 with the stick, and it's like
There's no flashlights in Star Wars.
Well, now I know there aren't officially. It's a damn lamp.
You can't ever have any normal light in sci-fi.
Well, you know.
Non-spoiler for Endgame, even War Machine, with all the crap that he's got on his suit, he holds a glowing glass orb up to see in the dark instead of just having, like a flashlight.
Wow, they forgot to put headlights on that thing. Who knew?
Yeah.
That is an Endgame spoiler. War Machine does not have headlights. Ah, damn it! Come on! So, all right, well.
Proof that Tony Stark doesn't think of everything.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into tonight's topic. We already went through our celebration experiences, and we wanted to let this rest a little bit because it was the hot button topic coming out of Celebration. So we waited a little bit to do ours, but we wanted to talk about the trailer for Episode 9 and things that we think might happen or things that we think it might have shown. And I'm going to start off right away with a question that is absolutely baffling me because everybody's talking about, oh, how's the Emperor going to come back? How's the Emperor going to come back? Oh, the Emperor's back. And I'm like, I have seen no one talking about Operation Cinder. And in thinking about it even more, they can't do anything but Operation Cinder in a way because it's already canon. So unless they say that the Emperor's just been hiding in a cave somewhere this whole time and he actually was alive,
right?
There's no other way to do it except for do the Operation Cinder thing where he,
Well, catch us up on that because I did not play through the campaign of Battlefront 2.
Well, I don't really remember. I played that such a long time ago, but basically he had this plan for eradicating everything after, like, basically if he couldn't continue, neither should the Empire, kind of a thing. I think was don't quote me on that, but he had these really cool robots, like droids that kind of like had like these like blank faces, and his face popped up, and
I remember seeing
gave
those
them
from the
orders and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, it's basically he left stuff behind for what if he ever died. It was like his contingency plan for the Empire, after he was gone. So
I remember reading about that in the Aftermath books. Wasn't that so? Yeah, like you said, basically he viewed himself like he is the emperor of the empire. Therefore, the empire is him. So if he dies, the empire dies. And I think his plan was the idea was to burn everything to the ground, basically. Hence Operation Cinder. And anything that survived would be like the hardened nucleus to like carry on the legacy and like be reforged as like the nucleus of a new order.
See,
because that's where the First Order came from. Was all the people that like I remember the last Aftermath book, Battle of Jakku takes place, and it's really a giant diversion. Like the Empire masses its fleet there. They have this big battle, and all it is a big diversion. So a select group can jump off into hyperspace on this route that they find in like a secret laboratory or something or observatory that the Emperor has on Jakku. So really the larger battle is totally unimportant. It's just a way to guarantee the rebellion, or not even the rebellion, but the New Republic at that point is distracted, so some people can make a getaway. And then those people go out to the unknown regions, and that's where the First Order, grows and, starts coming back in.
See, my first thought hearing the Emperor laugh was nowhere near that in depth. My first thought was just immediately, who says that the good guys are the only ones that get Force Ghosts?
Well, yeah, I mean that too.
So I was just like, maybe the chuckle is just a smoke screen because Kylo Ren is able to call upon him at some point in the movie and talk his brains out a little bit and try to figure out how to destroy the Republic there. Yeah.
By the way, real quick, just so we can prove we're not total idiots, I looked up Operation Cinder, and it says Operation Cinder was carried out by the Galactic Empire as a means of devastating several Imperial planets in 4 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. Only a few weeks following the Battle of Endor. The operation was part of the contingency, a plan devised by Emperor Palpatine to ensure that the Empire and its enemies did not outlive him should he ever perish. So, yeah, basically he's like saying, well, if I'm not living, neither are you.
Maybe the entire thing is a smoke screen from Lucasfilm, too. The Emperor plays zero role in this movie, and they threw that out there just for the pop on the trailer.
Could you imagine? I mean,
that would be hilarious.
That's the thing. It's like he's got to be in it.
They've planted
somehow.
They've planted enough stuff in the comics and the TV shows to allow him to come back in some form.
Yeah.
And here we go with the coughing again.
Yeah, sorry, I can't kick this thing. But
it's probably that beer you're drinking. It's giving
aside from that, you try to break the trailer down. The first shot, I'm kind of automatically assuming is in Rey's head, with the whole thing out in the desert and jumping over the. Yeah, because I can't imagine Kylo Ren just trying to go full blown kamikaze like that while she's running by herself through the desert.
Well, then there's people saying like you never see his face, like you just see the gloves. So what if it's not Kylo Ren? Like,
right, but that is his TIE fighter, though, wasn't it?
It looks modified from the last one, but
I kind of automatically assume that's in her head or something.
You know what I pictured from the first scene? I'm such a dummy. Like, this is what I think of the first time I see the Star Wars trailer. Like, she jumps and it's in slow motion, and my first thought is, she's not going to clear that thing. So then I had
just gets clipped by the TIE fighter.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
your head just goes immediately to memes.
Exactly. Like, she's just going to get creamed by a TIE fighter and everyone just left there scratching her heads like, well, what?
We're just sitting there on Thursday night. The movie's 18 minutes long.
Yeah, like it's right at the beginning of the movie. Like she's supposed to. It's been like a year time jump, and she's doing all this Jedi training. She's like, "All right, I'm gonna jump over a TIE fighter. Like this is the ultimate test." And she jumps and just catches her legs on it, and just gets creamed immediately.
It's just meet Joe Black in a galaxy far, far away.
She goes to jump and her legs clip the thing, and she spends the whole movie like Bran from Game of Thrones in a wheelchair the rest of the time. and Finn saves the world. You're like, okay, didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, right. Kylo Ren, he parks the TIE fighter, jumps out, and goes, hey, not my fault. She was supposed to clear it. She told me she learned that trick. Not my fault. Don't blame me.
Now, the one thing you can't read into that scene from is you don't know if she's trying to attack him or if she's like hitching a ride to something else.
Yeah. Is she grabbing onto it? Is she going to,
And that's
then
more so
turn
why
the
I keep
lightsaber
thinking
down
it's
and
in
try
her
and
head,
carve
too.
through? Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's
That's a badass jump, though, isn't it?
yeah, very much so. I mean, it was,
And
very,
the other part from that scene is the lightsaber hilt being back together.
yeah.
So that kind of goes against what we had initially thought too, that her being a bow staff person and stuff, that they were going to take and make two things, blah blah blah. It looks like it's still the same hilt with a piece of leather wrapped around the middle of it. And
Well, there's stuff online about that. So, but I'll leave it alone because AJ doesn't want quote unquote potential spoilers.
right,
But,
just going off of what we see in the trailer, that's all.
but yeah, So the blue lightsaber's back, which is really cool, and of course that
No, it's not. It's not cool.
well, it does kind of play into the theory that JJ is going to kind of retcon things that Ryan
You
Johnson
think?
did. So
Kylo's helmet's smashed. No, it isn't.
yeah, he's got red.
Well, the lightsaber's busted. No, it's not.
yeah,
Apparently,
Apparently-
fix anything.
Apparently his scar is back in the original position too.
dude. If that happens, that's gonna be that's good.
Really?
That's the dead
Oh
giveaway.
my god.
Wait, did you actually read that?
Somebody did say that. Yeah, I'm trying to actually watch the trailer in silent here to see if I can notice it. But
Do we see a close up of him in that, or is it just like him in action? I don't
No,
remember.
Well, there's that
just
running
an
scene.
action scene where
Yeah.
he does the rock bottom on that guy, and then they show
thing I
him
thought.
welding the helmet. So yeah,
That's another thing I thought. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I will lay it the smacketh down on your Rudy Poo candy ass.
so it shows him welding the helmet, and then immediately they're showing the Falcon fly through
That's what I thought.
hyperspace. So.
Can someone please mock that up? Just put the lay it the smack at the over that scene of him doing the rock bottom. Oh my god, that's awesome.
You see what he did with his saber, though? He did turn that sumbitch sideways. Maybe after he glued his helmet together, he shined it up real nice.
Man. So apparently, all we got out of the episode 9 trailer after waiting that long was just humor. So, one thing I thought was really cool that I actually missed, and AJ, you had to point this out because I think my first time seeing the trailer was like as I said on the previous episode was in the episode 9 panel, so I saw it twice. So my mind was pretty much sufficiently blown from what I was seeing, and so I didn't really catch this. And you had to point it out to me. And when I finally watched it on my television, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it is pretty clear. The stormtroopers with jetpacks.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really hard to see because it's all obscured in the clouds there, but like the dust clouds and whatnot, but they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like we've complained many times about, okay, we don't need yet another new stormtrooper. So this is basically just putting jetpacks on them, which is a different mode of transportation, which is cool because we've seen that in other other parts of the canon, but never in a live action movie. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it flies towards you so fast in that part of the trailer that you really think it's just another one of those bikes that's blowing by, so you kind of miss it.
That's what I thought.
I can fact check this one, though. We have seen jetpacks in a live action movie.
On stormtroopers?
On stormtroopers, when the Millennium Falcon is getting tractored into the docking bay on the Death Star. There are stormtroopers out in space with jetpacks on.
Okay, I mean showing them flying.
Okay, no, we haven't seen that.
Yeah, okay.
The actual flying stormtroopers were shown in Rebels.
That's what I thought. Okay.
All I imagine is incompetent stormtroopers doing the exact same thing that we saw Boba Fett do.
It's like the pod race where some of them don't work.
Right, like if Boba Fett sucks that bad and he's the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, what's a stormtrooper going to do with a jetpack?
Yeah, right.
That is like a weapon against themselves at that point.
All we know about jetpacks is Boba Fett slapping into the side of the barge and the Rocketeer, neither of which were very good.
And all the memes online of people with those water jetpacks. So
yeah, right. I want to try one of those, by the way. That looks awesome, but I know I'd face plant right into the water. So,
and then we got the call back. You see, I'm assuming it was Leia with the medal in her hand, which we're going to assume is Han's.
Yeah, that's the safe assumption.
Unless she's just been holding on to Chewbacca's medal for 40 years.
Man, one of our buddies tweeted that at us like tonight. Like what if the medal is Chewbacca's and Princess Leia like somehow gives it to Chewie in this movie, like, and now Peter Mayhew's gone. You're like, man. I tweeted back. I was like, okay, I've never cried at a Star Wars movie, but that might actually get me to do it.
What if it's just chocolate wrapped in foil?
That's why she's feeling it. She's like pushing her thumb into it to see if
is this a hollow one or is it solid?
she rips some foil away and it's white chocolate and she just chucks the thing off into the forest.
It's a comforting thought to know that Princess Leia hates white chocolate as much as I do. Yeah. So,
well, it's a disturbing thought because Lando's in this, and maybe she's into dark chocolate.
Did you had to go there?
Hey, Han's out of the picture.
Oh boy.
Yep. Over my dead body, you'll fly that Falcon again, right?
And look what happened.
So then you had Leia and Rey crying. So sure they're reminiscing about Han or something like that at that point.
Yeah.
Or somebody else is dead. Then they all come over the ridge and they see the skeleton body of, I'm assuming, what's left of the Death Star. I mean, that's kind of...
That was awesome.
Because
I didn't know what that was at first.
Oh, I did.
It took me 2 tries to actually watch it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I can see the portion of the dish right there.
As much as it took me a while to catch the flying stormtroopers, the very first time I saw that, I went, holy crap, it's the Death Star dish.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I just went, okay, something is destroyed right there. Like, I wasn't processing
where do you think that is? I mean, because it's
everything is on Jakku, okay?
Yeah.
Not water, and that was in water. Why does
everyone want to go back to Jakku?
See, told you. Yeah, I mean, is it going to be, like, on Endor somewhere? Because we've seen the forest moon, but we haven't seen the actual planet of Endor. So, do you think that's like down on Endor? I mean, it would seem to make sense.
It's in water, and they were just walking over some dead-looking grass, so it's not. So
it can't be Endor.
So, and I wouldn't assume.
Why not?
Endor.
Star Wars planets only have one topographical feature. Okay, there's no grass and there's no water on Endor. It's just trees and dirt.
No, that was
all the way through.
That was the moon. That was the moon.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So we don't know that.
And there are 8 other moons. We did learn that as well.
Yes, we did.
That was a little factoid from our Star Wars trivia escapade.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, Endor seems to make the most sense, and
it's not.
You don't think?
They're always going to new places in these movies. They haven't done a callback yet. I don't think this is going to be the first.
I agree with you, but we haven't seen Endor. We just know of it. That's why I think they could do it. And also,
just the
honestly,
fact that they call it the forest moon Endor, I really doubt there's a giant like ocean thing that I can't imagine them doing that.
I can.
Didn't you hear me like 2 or 3 episodes ago? I said they're going back to Coruscant as their callback, okay?
For what?
I sent the letter to Lucasfilm. They're already re-editing.
I mean,
they've done callbacks and reshoots.
It could be it's the Death Star. You call back to you're not going to imagine it falling on Batuu or something like that.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like
it exploded. It can literally go anywhere.
Well, okay. See, that's the thing. It makes the most sense.
And how big is this damn planet that the Death Star looked that small sitting in the ocean? By the way,
it was only one part, and they were a long ways away from it. See, that's the thing. It's like. It makes the most.
The second Death Star was much bigger than the first, though, and the first one was the size of a small moon already. So that must be way the hell off in the distance.
Okay, but
unless it's the first Death Star we're seeing. I was
just gonna say, but I mean, if it is the Death Star 2, I mean, it makes the most sense for it to be Endor because the proximity to the explosion. And then, don't you think it'd be kind of stupid if it's like, oh, look at this giant chunk of the Death Star, but it's on it floated for all this huge distance, and it just happened to come out of orbit on some planet we've never been to.
Judging by the way it exploded at the end of the movie, I can't imagine there's that big of a chunk of it that fell on a planet anyways. Dude.
Well,
it turned into space dust. Like, where is this giant chunk?
Now you're just getting into semantics. Now you're being ridiculous.
No.
There's no way big pieces survive because there was way smaller pieces of that. We're gonna go there now.
We're getting into comic book man from the Simpsons territory.
Well, actually,
That's so fake. There's no fire in space.
Right.
There's no oxygen for fire in space. I can't believe it. There's no sound in space either. We get into the actual science of things. Screw Star Wars. We actually found out it sucks. This podcast is over.
but
All these years go by and we finally just realize this is so fake. I can't believe I've invested this much time of my life.
I'm going to go read Stephen Hawking.
here's where a new planet makes sense. A chunk of the Death Star, that friggin' big, it would have been found by somebody. Somebody would have known about that by now. So that's where it makes sense, like, to think that it was flying through space all this time and then it hit this planet. So that's why they're just now finding it, because it was just drifting in space.
I'm not buying it.
If it was Endor, they were the entirety of the rebellion was on Endor for that final battle.
They were on the forest moon.
Okay, what I mean is they were in the Endor system, whatever. They were in orbit of Endor in
So
some
what?
way, shape, or form. So if a chunk that big of the Death Star hit the planet of Endor, they would have known about it. They were all there right at that time.
But why would they care?
And they wouldn't have just left it there. They would have gone and looked for people, made sure that the Empire was
if
dead.
a chunk that big hit the planet while they were partying, they probably would have at least went, what the hell was that? Let's go check that out.
Okay, also, that would pretty much devastate the planet, let's be honest.
That
That
too.
size hitting it would just forget it.
What is
that
wrong
that
with
would
you?
cause a bit of damage, yes.
That would cause some damage, but what else you got? Adam Sandler strikes again. Dude, you're getting into the realism of it. Oh, if it comes through the atmosphere, it causes giant tidal wave.
That was just one last point, but
It should have burnt up on re-entry, damn it.
If they were that close to Endor proper by being on the moon, they would know that a chunk that size hit the planet.
Yeah, but why would they care?
I don't know. It's a giant chunk with the government that you just overthrew on it. Maybe you want to be nice and check for survivors, or maybe finish the job in case important people survived and ran off. There's all kinds of reasons why maybe the rebellion.
How
would
do you
want
know
to
they didn't?
See, I don't know if
How do you
I
know
don't
they
know
didn't?
if they
This is
would
like
have cared.
35, 36 years later.
I don't know if they would have cared as much as they would have, like I said, just went, we got to go see what the hell that was, and then check it out. Like, I can't imagine the surprise of them coming over that little ridge and going, oh, look. But again, we don't know. Maybe somebody told them to go because they've already known that it was there, and just Rey and Finn and them didn't know about it. But
well, don't forget the Jedi
it's a
didn't
teaser
exist when it
trailer.
blew up.
We don't know. So
yeah, and the Jedi didn't exist when it blew up, so it's not like somebody's going to say, "Hey, man, there's this massive, vergence in the Force."
maybe Leia knew and told Rey about it, and that's where they show that part of the trailer. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know why it's there. I'm going on record right now as saying that is Endor. That's what I think, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm just going to say no because I'm playing the percentages.
Yeah, why would Endor matter?
Because remember,
we've never seen that planet before, so it's no more important than inventing a new one.
Because they're trying
to be Batu, so they can start promoting Galaxy's Edge.
They're going to bust out one of the space cokes, and
it's Tanab.
That's why Lando's smiling while he's flying the Falcon in the trailer, because he's excited to be back on Tanab. He's like, I could do my maneuver again. But no, I just think because they're saying they're going to tie everything together. So I think in a movie where you have to tie the entire Skywalker saga together to just continually introduce, here's another new planet, it's like people are going to go, why? And technically Endor itself, it is a new planet because, again, we have not seen the actual planet of Endor, but it's kind of not new.
I got it. It's Hoth. It's Hoth. The thing crashing into the surface was an extinction level event. It caused so much ash and stuff to go into the troposphere that it became a greenhouse effect. It thawed all the ice. It's Hoth. There you go.
That'd be hilarious.
This is turning into
it's just like what killed the dinosaurs on Earth.
Yeah, we're going way away from the
Death
whole
Star. The Death Star hit Earth, and that's what killed the dinosaurs.
This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova.
Listen, what are you talking about over there, Alex Jones? We're not.
Right.
Look, the Death Star exploded in a galaxy a long time ago in a far, far away galaxy. So,
Would you fumble that one?
yeah, I did. It was flying through space the whole damn time until the Cretaceous period or whenever the hell, the dinosaurs got wiped out. And that's what happened. The Death Star.
It's Earth.
Plus it's a meteor.
It's Earth.
Yeah.
You blew it up.
You damn dirty apes.
Ray just falls down on the beach that you assume is Jakku, and you just see the Statue of Liberty poking up out of the. Damn yous!
It's actually a Vader helmet with a lightsaber hilt.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's
get back to the trailer.
Let's actually talk about the Death Star, though, because a lot of people online have been rolling their eyes about it, going, "Oh my God, we're doing Death Star again." How do you guys feel about that? Are you okay with more Death Star stuff, or do you wish they'd just move on already and come up with something else?
No, because it's not like we're building a new Death Star.
Yeah,
it's like
it's not Death
it's a
Star.
chunk of
It's not Death Star 4.0 or anything.
Yeah, it's a chunk of something that got blown up. So that that's fine.
And it's tying back into the original trilogy, which is hopefully wrapping things up.
I actually love it personally. I thought that was really cool because you're really, with Luke Skywalker, the only way he's going to be there is as a Force ghost. Obviously, Princess Leia can only be in there a little bit because they don't have a ton of unused footage. They have unused footage, but it's not like a ton, so she can't be, the focal point of the movie. So, this really centers around the new characters. So that's awesome because you have these new characters, but they're going to be, it looks like learning new things about stuff that we've already seen.
They are getting tied into the original trilogy somehow now.
It almost seems like we're going to learn deeper secrets about stuff we've already seen. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna make the events of like Return of the Jedi and stuff like that mean a lot more than what it initially looked like. Which I think is awesome. I love that.
Those are some of the best parts of the prequels is the context that it gave to things for the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Setup. Yeah, the thing I like too is, the Death Star, it blows up planets. That's pretty damn important. So the fact that they keep going back to that well and dwelling on this is the most important dramatic thing that we've got in our timeline, I'm okay with that. That's it's like, you know what, we're still reeling from 9/11 and it was 18 years ago at this point. It doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
So if there's this thing going through space that took 20 years to build and it can wipe out planets and almost eradicated the rebellion in the process, it's cool that those effects are still being felt 50, 60 years later in the timeline, 30 or 40 years, my bad.
Yeah.
50 or 60 from the start of the project. So it's cool that it doesn't just go away and oh yeah, so it blew up a planet and blew up a city and almost eradicated people, but we've moved on.
Yeah.
No, I like that it's hanging around as the biggest thing that ties the entire saga together.
Yeah. It'll be so interesting to see what they do with the Emperor because kind of bringing him back is, he really is kind of the evil glue that holds the whole thing together because, he was Palpatine and the Emperor in the prequels, and then he was running the Empire in the original trilogy, and then he got supposedly blown up in, at the end of Return of the Jedi, and now they've, brought into canon this whole Operation Cinder thing.
You think they'll paint any backstory for him in 7 and 8? Saying where he was, if he is indeed back in this one, we don't know.
They could because, when Snoke said, dark rises and light to meet it. What if the dark is actually the Emperor? What if there's been awakening in the Force? Have you felt it? Maybe it was actually Rey and then the Emperor coming up what if Snoke was just some punk that was really evil, but he wasn't as powerful as the Emperor, and that's why Kylo was able to kill him as easily as he was, but the real threats are Rey on one side and the Emperor on the other.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do that,
Yeah.
which I'm sure would piss a lot of people off. Then why'd you have Snoke if he's such a punk? Like, well, what if he was just?
Why did we have Darth Maul in the first movie?
Yeah.
You know, Clone Wars aside, that was the same thought we had. That was like, look at this badass dude, and then he dies, and you're like, why'd you put him in there?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, until he came back as, mech warrior Darth Maul, the spider legs. It was just like that guy was pointless.
And what if Snoke was
It's like all the Inquisitors and Rebels and stuff was like, what the hell? That the stupid Inquisitor was built as like, this is going to be the next badass dude, and then he dies at the end of season 1. You're like, well, what was the point of that guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it could be like, Snoke was a failed apprentice of the Emperor, and maybe he did run off to wild space. Maybe he was aligned with the Knights of Ren, and when the Emperor died, it was one of those things like, okay, well, now I'm coming out of the woodwork or something. I mean, the timeline wouldn't match up there with what I just said, but you get my inference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that could be. So, I mean, you would almost have to think that with Snoke gone, the Emperor in this movie has to play a pretty major role, because otherwise who's going to be the bad guy? I mean, Kylo Ren, he's a great character, but I don't really see how he would be all of a sudden powerful enough to, the whole thing's been about him becoming this super bad guy.
Maybe the Emperor figured it all out from the whole Darth Plagueis thing and was able to put himself into Kylo, and
well, here's the other swerve.
That's why he's got all the power, because he's just sitting on all of it now, like all the evil.
The whole project your soul thing.
Yeah.
I would hate that. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I've never liked that theory.
All jokes aside, with all the memes that we have in the Star Wars universe here and all that stuff, I could really do without them trying to shoehorn Darth Plagueis into episode 9 here at the end of this series.
Yeah.
I really don't need that in my life.
I mean, what if they come out and say that Snoke actually was Plagueis?
Ugh.
Could you imagine that?
Well, then that shoots the crapper. Like, it's just, we've always, like I said, jokings aside, like we've always been like taught that Plagueis was the end all be all of bad things,
Yeah.
like, so if you find out that he just went out like a chooch over there, like, you're like, really? Like, what the hell was years we've thought, Plagueis is the top of the evil food chain, and then you find out, he got outsmarted by a nitwit over here that failed Jedi Academy. Okay.
A failed nitwit. Nice. a description of Kylo Ren we've never heard or seen anywhere. What is Kylo Ren to the new
Failed
movies?
emo nitwit.
That's a great one. But all right. So sorry,
what do you think? Did you guys see anything that you think is a red herring in the trailer?
I don't know what a red herring is because I don't pay attention to those
Deliberate
terms.
misdirection.
Oh, see, that's really hard to say because we've made this point many times. The way they do these trailers for these movies anymore, the entire trailer's a red herring.
Well, okay.
So
altered footage notwithstanding, I just mean like the way they can cut a snippet from one scene against a snippet from an entirely unrelated scene and make you think something is going on.
I didn't get that really.
Yeah. When
I'm wondering about Kylo.
What part of it?
We see him fighting with his helmet off, and we see hands that are clearly not his welding the helmet back together.
Yeah, weren't they furry?
Yeah. So we know the helmet gets reassembled, and we know Kylo's in the movie, but we never see Kylo in the helmet in the movie.
Well, in the trailer.
Well, okay, in the trailer.
I was going to say, it's kind of hard to infer that. Yeah, I mean...
Someone wearing the Kylo outfit with the mended helmet it was on the Celebration banner, but again, it doesn't say that that's Kylo under the mask.
Yeah.
Innocent till proven guilty. I'm just assuming all of that is Kylo. Like,
yeah, me too.
I didn't think of that as a misdirection at any point.
What if he's already fighting without the mask, though? What would lead him to reassemble it? Or if he reassembles it first, I wonder why he ended up losing it next then.
I would
assume
assume
he
he's
learned from
fighting
episode 7 you don't take the damn helmet off?
I'd assume he's fighting before he fixed it, and then he's just had one of his little emo moments where, he probably talked to He probably talked to the Emperor's Force Ghost or something and was like, oh, yeah, I need to be Darth Vader again, and I need the helmet.
Or maybe the reverse.
That dude just can't lose a helmet. Have you noticed that? Like, he sets it down on Starkiller Base, goes out into the woods, and then somehow he still got it at the beginning of Last Jedi. Then in Last Jedi, he smashes it in the elevator. The ship blows up, just like Starkiller does. And yet, here it is being reforged from the pieces in Episode 9. Like, the hell does this guy have to do?
Only part of it blew up. So he could have gotten it out of the elevator.
Oh, so like in the midst of going down to Crate to deal with Luke and everything, he's like, "Oh, by the way, go get the pieces of that thing. I might."
Well, don't
want
forget
it
he
later."
had his TIE fighter, so maybe after he bashed up the helmet, he's like, "Get my ship." He goes trundling out of the elevator. Maybe he went back for it. It's like, I might need this later.
I'm gonna assume he has about a half a dozen of them sitting in his bedroom.
Yeah,
He smashed that one too. He smashed all his backups.
No,
He's got a temper
just the
problem.
one. Just the one.
He's got a
he had
temper
extras. So the last thing in the trailer was obviously the name reveal. So
yeah, that's interesting. I
first thought, and I actually put it in our text thread, and AJ agreed with me. I was like, it's full circle. I'm like, Rise of Skywalker means something about Anakin. He's already been rumored to have been on the set. I'm like, it's going to be a Force Ghost and stuff. But I read that a while ago, actually, that they said Hayden Christensen was on set for a long time ago, actually. So probably like right when they first started shooting.
See, I've seen a whole bunch of people speculate on it, and the one that I kind of tend to side with just based on the phrasing is that Skywalker is the name of the new religion. Like, Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end. Well, maybe instead of the Jedi Knights, now it'll be the Skywalker Knights. It's like Rey. Yep. And
it could be, yeah. Because I mean, again, my thought was it's Anakin, Force Ghost. He's finally going to come back and do exactly what I said after Episode 7. That he's going to come back and talk to Kylo and go, "Dude, this is not what I was about." So
yeah, right.
Stop trying to act like this is, don't throw my helmet in the ashes again and act like you're doing something for me, because I'm not about that life, bro.
Yeah, seriously. I had a last minute conversion to the light side.
Yeah.
So,
see, I'm thinking it has something to do with Anakin. So that way all 9 actually do tie back in and go, this was all about him.
Yeah.
In
I just have a hard time thinking it's about a particular person, because then it's like, okay, the rise of basically it's the rise of Skywalker. It's like, okay, well, if this person all of a sudden is this huge big deal, it's the end of the saga. You're like, what the hell kind of cliffhanger is that? So I mean, that's why I kind of lean towards it being because the name of a new religion.
It could be both. It could be Anakin coming back somehow and leading that chart. Well, not leading it, but getting into Rey's head or somebody that can do that, because the end of the movie is not, they're not going to end this saga with fire and death and New Order ruling over, so you're automatically assuming the good guys, air quotes, are going to win. So yeah, maybe that is the end of the saga, is Rey and them teaching a new the new religion, the mop kid from Episode 8, teaching them the new ways of the new Jedi Order, which
the
is
Skywalker Order.
Yeah, that the Jedi are dead and everything. So
yeah, that just seems to make the most sense to me. But I mean, as we know, these things don't always make sense. But
the titles are always deliberately vague or have multiple meanings anyway. I mean, Phantom Menace was not specific. Attack of the Clones was kind of just plain wrong. I mean, they did attack, but only as a counter attack. Revenge of the Sith was...
That one's pretty true.
Yeah, that's kind of on the nose. A New Hope is... kind of. But
no, Luke Skywalker is the New Hope. I mean, he's a New Hope, so okay. Because he's learning the Force. Empire Strikes Back, like they got knocked on their ass. Blew up the Death Star at the end of A New Hope, so they strike back. So that's, and Return to the Jedi, okay, he's officially a Jedi now, so it makes sense,
But the Jedi, that's plural, like the Jedi, like he wasn't a Jedi before. So again, that's a little bit misleading because there's only one Jedi by the end of that movie. It's Return of a Jedi.
I was going to say that they completely give it away by calling it Return of a Jedi.
Because you go back to episode 8.
Then you make episode 8 a Last Jedi.
You go back to episode 8, and Luke says, it's time for the Jedi to end. Blah blah blah. Maybe Rey carries that on and says, you know what, we're not going to carry the Jedi on because my teacher said it's time for him to go. So we're just going to name them.
And she's got the original text.
We're going to name them X. And so I could easily see that being the end of that. Yeah,
that just seems to make the most sense because I think if you have another character, I mean, and again, the reasoning for that is then you could do that without Rey having to be a Skywalker. Like you can make her like the new Luke.
You can walk that stupid line and be like, well, she's a Skywalker, but she's not a quote family Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you don't have to retcon the whole parentage thing. You don't have to say, oh no, they were somebody. Kylo Ren was just being an a-hole. You could say no, she comes from junk dealers, but somewhere in her heritage was
she's like
Force users, and
third cousin, twice removed.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, you could avoid having
somewhere in the middle of the movie. Rey goes on Ancestry.com and figures out how far down the line the Skywalker blood is. That's why they're going back to Jakku, because there was a damn internet cafe sitting there.
See her swabbing her cheek and sticking it in the mail.
I still feel like JJ can't help but do some sort of a tie back. Like there's going to be something revealed about her background or her family history that's going to tie her to somebody. I just feel like it's going to be like,
not.
Yeah, I hope not.
She's
too.
a Kenobi cousin or, a branch of Palpatine. I mean, it's something. She's not just going to be a new character. They're going to tie her back.
She's the inbred child of Luke and Leia.
Well, yeah, right. I don't know. Excuse me. I hope they don't do that because I think it would be cooler if they just stick with your parents are nobody, but she is extremely strong with the Force, and she starts this whole
because I don't
order.
see too many people trying to trace parentage for the broom kid at the end of episode 8, and he obviously has the Force. So
yeah,
are we automatically assuming that kid's a Kenobi or something like that too?
Now the galaxy's full of Kenobis.
Yeah,
damn it!
Told you those years between episode 3 and 4. He's just out banging desert sleuths, just putting little Force users all over the damn planet.
Well, there's nothing else to do. Everyone's like, Obi, what the hell are you doing? This is completely against the Jedi the Jedi code. Like, look, the Jedi are all dead.
Right.
I'm in the desert. I got the Force. What the hell would you do? I'm just going to go out banging whores, man.
He's doing mind tricks to stormtroopers. You think that's the only time he's using that?
Yeah, he's like getting hammered in the cantina and like chicks are walking in.
He leaves the cantina. He's drunk. He's just walking down the street looking at every female using the Force. You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You're pregnant.
You want to come back to my cave and look at my lightsaber.
Hey, lady in the red hat. Yeah.
Pulls the anchor man. Blue milk was a bad choice.
It's so hot.
It's so damn hot.
In episode 4, Kenobi was only in his mid-40s. He just looked like that because he was banging too many broads.
Yeah.
I make great noises with my mouth.
That'd be so great, man.
Oh, so all right. We could be talking this trailer and making jokes about it for hours, but let's wrap this up with one more question. What is your favorite moment aside from the Emperor laugh at the end?
Well, that wasn't my favorite moment to begin with. By far, and just because it was a total throwback for me, and in the video that I took of me watching the trailer for the first time in the panel, definitely Lando flying the Falcon. That was just awesome. That was awesome.
You think he's getting 9 Numb as his co-pilot again?
9 Numb's supposed to be in this, I think. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if he'll co-pilot with Lando, but I mean, he's a commander. Or did he die?
No, I think he's still around.
Okay. No. So anyways, yeah, Lando flying the Falcon. What about you?
For me, it was Probably the scene of Kylo, actually. Kylo whooping ass in the forest there. He's fun, man. I love the lightsaber battles, and his are like the best blending of original style trilogy and the prequel stuff.
Okay, very cool. What about you, Steve?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of it actually right now. I'm like, I was so actually just like speechless watching the trailer the first time that I really can't pinpoint a, oh my God, that was an it moment, other than like, honestly, every time these trailers come out, the things that actually hit me the most is when they put like the text in it when it says like this Christmas, and then the music picks up and you're like,
yeah,
that's when you get the little douche chills on your arm and stuff, and you're like,
it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. No more Star Wars is coming.
It's like I'm almost not paying attention to the scenes. I'm just like,
all right.
So yeah, I really don't have like a oh my God moment to that trailer, other than the laugh. I mean, that was the Chewie we're home moment to that, and it's so. I don't know. Maybe, honestly, maybe the name reveal, because you're just like, dude, this is it kind of thing. Like, now that you know that's the name of the last Star Wars movie, at least for what we know.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to stop making it. Just same thing with Marvel and all that. We know Endgame isn't the end of the MCU. It's just what we know.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
I don't know. Yeah. So maybe actually the name reveal might be the thing that hit the most for me.
Awesome. Yeah. So you mentioned Endgame, so I want to end on this because no pun intended. We had started talking about how they're going to close up the movie and stuff, and what can they put in, what can't they. On a future episode, I want to get into not spoiling Endgame, but
we're past spoiler time, so we can do that on the next episode.
Yeah, asking the question, can Episode 9 pull off what Endgame pulled off, which is satisfactorily ending the entire thing? Or are they really kind of painted into a corner where you're just not going to please everybody? Like, I mean, everyone's universally loving Endgame, and is that even possible for Episode 9? And we can make comparisons. So I'd like to talk about that.
Teaser for the next episode. In short, no. No, well, I don't think they can pull it off, period.
Well, way to ruin a topic, Steve.
All right, we had a show, but
all right, forget that.
Well, no need to tune into that one.
Yeah, now we can go into why, though.
All right.
But no, short answer, no, I don't think they can do what Endgame did.
Yeah, let's get into that some more on the next episode, shall we?
Yeah, since Steve is crapping on show topics, why don't we close up shop on that? So
we'll have a nice 2-person show next time.
Exactly.
Steve, you don't need to be part of it. We already heard your stake. So.
Yeah.
Hey, I have reasons, damn it.
All right, we'll let you on. So
I hope so.
It is your basement.
I'll lock the damn door. You guys can podcast from the front yard.
We'll do it on our phone.
Can we get in? We just want to record a show, man.
Again, no.
Go away. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We appreciate it. As always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial. Thanks to Galactic Empire. Go check out their 2 records available wherever you get your music. You can buy your official Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify. Most Android podcast apps will have us on there, Google Podcasts. All of our episodes are available on YouTube. You can find our website at nerfherdercouncil.com. We are on Facebook. You can interact with us there. You can send us an email, which is nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, which no one ever has, so I won't even bother with that, but it's a cool number, 440-987-WARS. Or you can interact with us.
Just leave yourself a voicemail. You can debate it on the next episode.
I'll talk like this. I had a question for the council.
Oh my God, you guys are the best podcast ever.
I love your podcast so much.
You're so much better than every other podcast out there.
Nice. And of course, you can interact with us on our Twitter page, which is at NHC Podcast. So, once again, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams, 579.
He is Steve.
I was going to try to make some Endgame reference, but I didn't want to spoil it at the last second. At JSteve1005.
Nice. And we'll catch you next time.
bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.